we've got behind the wheel of a ridiculous prototype rally car in the African desert. But there's only one of them in the world, and it was not easy getting a drive.
Found it, but it's surrounded by people.
No, Yusuf, no one has driven this car yet. You have to do, this is an exclusive. You do it, and you do it for Auto Express.
I know. Just leave me to it. I'll think of something. Oh yes, welcome everyone to an Auto Express, the exclusive. This is the Nissan Juke Hybrid rally car, and we're driving it across the Sahara.
Okay, you're probably wondering what on earth is going on here. Why have I just stolen a pumped up, straight piped Nissan Juke and escaped into the desert? Well, this one-off machine has been built for a very special reason. And to explain, I'm going to have to wind the clock back 51 years and take you to Kenya. The 1971 East African Safari Rally. By far the toughest event in the World Championship. Dry heat, brutal terrain, endless stages. If the car doesn't break, the driver probably will. But not Edgar Herrmann. The German-born rally specialist wrestled his way through the stages in this, a Datsun 240Z. Just look at it go. Herrmann literally threw the 240Z at the scenery and slithered his way to victory in 1971, beating Mark I Ford Escorts, Porsche 911s and Lancia Fulvias. The little 240 gave Nissan one of their biggest wins in motorsport. But look a bit closer. Remind you of something? That's right, Nissan has built a hybrid crossover rally car to pay tribute to that winning 240Z. And we've borrowed it.
So the Juke rally car then, under the skin, it's actually pretty similar to the hybrid powered Nissan Juke you'll be able to buy in a little while, but obviously it's been jacked up. We're on off-road tyres, off-road springs and dampers, and we are just pummeling the surface into submission. But the engine and gearbox, they're from what will become the production version of the Juke Hybrid. So we've got a 1.6 litre petrol engine, develops about 143 horsepower, coupled to an electric motor. So it's not a huge amount of power, but honestly, to have fun on a little off-road rally course in the Sahara, it's enough. You can really rag this thing out and wring its neck. Obviously, this thing is still front-wheel drive, which is limiting any sideways antics. We do have this thing, hydraulic handbrake. Now, we've actually got a lot of grip from these huge off-road tyres, so it's not that effective, but if you give it a good yank mid-corner, well, yeah, you get all sorts of fun. So like I say, we've got long travel off-road suspension. It's not a super sophisticated setup, it doesn't have remote reservoirs or anything. It's just designed to allow the Juke to do this. And it does, you know, it doesn't smother bumps like a WRC car, but you wouldn't expect that. It gives it impressive capability.
So the Juke isn't a fire-breathing rally weapon. In fact, it's actually pretty slow, but it is a blast on gravel where you don't need to be going so quickly to have fun, and it's got the hardware to cope with uneven African terrain. There's a beefy roll cage to stiffen the shell, 275 section off-road tyres, and those new dampers are from Öhlins, so it's definitely kitted out for the rough stuff.
And to be fair, for a Nissan Juke, it ain't doing too badly. As you can probably hear, it doesn't sound very cultured, this 1.6 litre four-cylinder, because Nissan have basically just whacked a big straight pipe on it. And it's actually really odd rallying with a hybrid powertrain, because with this car in particular, it doesn't feel like your throttle inputs are directly correlating with how much power you're getting, because you've got the blend of the electric motor and that 1.6 litre 4-cylinder. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, and occasionally, like now, it will just switch to all electric mode, so you're rallying in silence.
Part of the reason for that slight imprecision in the throttle is the rally car's multimodal gearbox, which will also be fitted to the Juke Hybrid production car. It muddies the connection between your right foot and the engine, but this is obviously more of an issue when scrambling around for traction on sand. But the hybrid system does give a bit of a preview of what junior rallying could look like in a few years. WRC has already gone to hybrid power, but electrification could trickle down to lower level Rally 4 and Rally 5 cars in the future.
Because at some point manufacturers are going to have to switch to electric power or a hybrid like this. Oh man, this is so much fun. Just metering out the power on this loose surface. But the weirdest thing is, I'm sat in what is pretty much a standard Juke interior while we're doing all this dune bashing. So you've got standard dashboard, it's covered in Alcantara, you've got an Alcantara steering wheel as well, but essentially I'm sat in a Nissan Juke with a hydraulic handbrake sticking out the centre console. And obviously we've got the Juke's E-Pass system, totally numb on tarmac, and even more unresponsive and lacking feel on the gravel. With this car, you really just feel the body movements, telegraph the way the weight is moving, which corners are loaded up to sense how you're sliding and how to correct the car.
But here's the thing, it might be a really weird looking rally car and definitely a long way from the classic 240Z, but the Juke's taller crossover body really does make it a right laugh on a rally stage. It's not great for going quickly, but you can use that high centre of gravity to play around with the car's attitude, and everything seems to happen in slow motion. It's a really approachable machine, even without any driver aids.
The funny thing is, you often find when you jack up a car on soft, long travel springs like we have here, you unlock so much adjustability in the chassis. You can make quite a numb device like a Juke be really quite playful. You can manipulate the car on the brakes and do all sorts with it. I mean, who thought you could ever get a Nissan Juke sideways? You can get this one sideways. But of course this car is just a bit of fun, to be honest. It's not a competition car. It's got 140 odd horsepower and it's not been set up to really bully a rally stage, but just a bit of fun, you know. And if there was ever going to be a Nissan Juke that somewhat appeals to enthusiasts like us, well, it's got to be this thing. I quite like that it exists.